Fill our lessons with fun, fill our friendship with kindness, fill our schools with love. Amen. In the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. So before you take your seat, kindly arrange your chairs and pick up some pieces of papers. Okay, so also remove unnecessary things that is not included in our subject. Alright? Yes. Okay. By the way, I have teacher Christine, your science teacher for today. Alright, so let's check our attendance for today. So who is absent? Okay, so we have perfect attendance. Let's clap our hands. Alright. So now, before I delve into my discussion, here is our classroom rules. The 3 R's. First, be responsive. Second, be responsible. And lastly, be respectful. Now, let's have a brief recap about our last topic, last meeting. So what was our last topic? Okay, Miss Olasiman? It's all about life, ma'am. Yes, our topic is all about life. Now, can you give me characteristics of life, Miss Jezebel?
The two characteristics of life is intensity and tone.
Excellent! So, I'm glad that you learned a lot from our last topic, last meeting. Now, class, have you ever experienced touching hot objects like rice cooker?
Yes.
Or even a mug with hot coffee?
Yes.
Right, excellent class. So that experience of yours have explanation in scientific terms with our topic for today. Alright?
Yes.
Okay, our topic for today is all about heat transfer. So, before that, here is our learning objectives. First, at the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to first identify and describe the 3 basic forms of heat transfer. Second, demonstrate the ability to distinguish between the 3 ways of heat transfer by quickly identifying and describing the process. And lastly, appreciate each type of heat transfer happening in a specific example. Now, let's move on. So, for our preliminary activity. So now, I will group you into 3 groups. The first 3 columns will be the group 1. The second 3 columns will be group 2, and the last will be the group 3. Now, form your circles. And please don't make unnecessary mistakes. Okay, the count 1, 2, 3. Alright, so you are now fixed. So for our preliminary activity. Alright. So can you guess what word can we form do that? Okay? Miss? So that is for our next picture. Alright, that is so class, I will prepare some short video, then please listen because I will ask you after the video presentation. This video will confirm your understanding about the conditions of heat transfer. Alright?
Yes.
In this lesson, you'll explore three ways heat transfers in our environment: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction is the transfer of heat between substances directly contacting each other. The better the conductor, the more rapidly heat will transfer. Good conductors include copper, silver, iron, and steel. Poor conductors include wood, styrofoam, paper, and air. It's why we don't recommend picking up a handful of change that's been sitting in the sun, unless you want to burn your hands. But you're okay to pick up that pile of wooden nickels sitting next to it. Moving on to convection. This is the up and down movement of gases and liquids caused by heat transfer. As a gas or a liquid is heated, it warms, expands, and rises because it's less dense. When the gas or liquid cools, it becomes denser and falls. Warming and rising and cooling and falling creates a convection current. This is the primary way heat moves through gases and liquids. Some examples include the warmer water on a pool's surface, floating in a hot air balloon, and that cool evening breeze blowing through the lower floors of your house or apartment. Finally, let's talk about radiation. This is defined as electromagnetic waves traveling through space. When electromagnetic waves come in contact with an object, the waves transfer the heat to that object. It's heat traveling in the form of visible and non-visible light. Some examples of radiation include feeling warm while standing next to a campfire, reheating that slice of pizza in your microwave, and turning on a light so you can find your phone. Conduction, convection, and radiation are three critical ways heat moves through our lives. The heat to that object. It's heat traveling in the form of visible and non-visible light. Some examples of radiation include feeling warm while standing next to a campfire, reheating that slice of pizza in your microwave, and turning on a light so you can find your phone. Conduction, convection, and radiation are three critical ways heat moves through our lives. They're the heat transfer principles we experience every day. Knowing how heat transfers makes it easier to find efficient ways to warm and cool our houses, keep people safe from overheating, and create new and innovative technologies to improve our lives. This completes this lesson on heat transfer, conduction, radiation, convection.
Alright class, did you enjoy the video? Yes! I have prepared some questions for you. So, based on the video presentation, what have you learned from Miss Fernando? Presentation now. What are the three methods of heat transfer? Miss? Alright, that's correct. So how does the heat transfer? Okay, Miss Yulita. Okay, Garner said.
Ayan, number 4.
So,
Not around.
heat is an energy that is transferred from one object to another due to the difference in their temperature, or simply means energy in transit. So it means class that heat, it is a form of energy that is transferred from objects due to temperature changes. So next, what are the characteristics of heat? So heat is always transferred from body of higher temperature to body of lower temperature. As you can see in illustration, so the hot object then float to the colder one in order for it to have thermal equilibrium. Now, so heat transfer. Heat transfer describes the flow of heat due to temperature difference and the subsequent temperature distribution and change. So we have three methods or three different ways of heat transfer. This way, now, the first method of heat transfer is conduction. So conduction, it is a method of heat transfer through direct contact. For example, class, I have here a mug. So assuming that this mug is contains hot water. So the hot water or the high temperature from the mug will then transfer directly to your hand. So there is a direct contact of hot water to your hand. So that is called conduction. Now class, another conduction can occur because of the conductor. So these are the materials that is the heat will transfer quickly. So insulators, it is a poor conductors wherein it resists the heat. So the next method of heat transfer is the convection. So convection, it is a method of heat transfer wherein the water, example, the water in a boiling water, so the water or the hot water will rise and the cold water will sink. So that is the process of convection. So it happens class in the air and in water. So the last method of heat transfer is the radiation. So radiation, it is a method of heat transfer wherein it is through electromagnetic waves. So unlike from the conduction and convection wherein it is involves matter or particles, radiation is through electromagnetic waves. So example of this is the sun and the earth. So there is no direct contact of sun to the earth. So, class, so all three methods of heat transfer can happen at the same time. So when you boil the water, so if you touch the pan, so there is a conduction. The boiling water, there is a convection, and the heat from the fire that you feel is the radiation. Now, class, any questions? Okay, so let's have an activity. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, for our activity, so with the same group, each group will have one representative to answer the question. So I am prepared to hear 20 teachers and you will guess